I was about 4 minutes into this recording, and then I realized that my mic wasn't recording. So, starting over. As you can tell, Kelly is not with me again. She is actually going to be taking a bit of a sabbatical from doing the videos. She's got her own business that she's working on, and that's just kind of tying her hands right now. So, again, you have to put up with me. I apologize, but maybe we'll see her in the future. I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises. That being said, as you can tell, this is also a different format. We're not at home. Well, I'm not at home. Currently, I'm actually at the Supercharger in Nephi, Utah. I almost said Spanish Fork. That's where I live. I'm at the Supercharger in Nephi because we're helping somebody in our family move, and our garage is fully stuffed, so I don't have access to my dedicated charger, which means that our trickle charging really just isn't enough for us. So I figured I'd come down here, record, and just enjoy a bit of a quiet time. So anyways, with that being said, if you like this format more than the other format, please let me know. If you like the other format, let me know as well. I'm trying to make this as visually pleasing as I can, putting up with my ugly mug. And audibly, I'm trying to make things a little bit better as well. So, again, that all being said, please, if you have tips or tricks on what I can do better, feel free to send them my way. I'm going to try to make these things a little more informal, not because I think that formal is bad, but because I felt like it was a little too rigid. So, yeah, we're going to try something new. So to get started, the first thing is that prices have dropped on S and X by $5,000 a piece, and the Model 3 has dropped $2,000. The Model Y and Cybertruck remain unchanged, so I just think that now would be a really good time if you're looking at buying a Tesla to do so, because come July 1st, like I mentioned last week, or last episode, the prices are going to be going up for full self-driving by $1,000. If you're not getting full self-driving, you can wait it out. I think Tesla might be releasing something new here. I feel like they kind of have the tendency to do that. They'll drop the prices, and then they'll release a new powertrain or a new feature or something like that. So if you're looking at getting full self-driving, now is a good time. Though you might miss out on some hardware in the future. It's really hard to tell with Tesla because they're always releasing new features. So it's not like you can just say, oh, just wait till next year, because you could buy a car today and they could update them tomorrow. The next thing is software. I did talk about this last time. The software versions that are coming out are 2020.20. Then there's some trailing numbers, .1, .5, and .11, I think are what are coming out right now. They're all similar. This is the one that includes Fallout Shelter. It also includes some GPS fixes for some cars, which I was trying to do some research on that, and I'm not exactly sure what's happening. They just say that it's going to be correcting the accuracy of the GPS. So, and the people that I've read about this haven't had GPS issues. So I don't know. We'll figure it out later on. Maybe. I don't know. Apart from that, it looks like this is actually going out to older cars first, which is kind of new. I think that it would be good for Tesla to honestly release updates first to Model S and X, as they are the more premium vehicles. That's coming from a Model 3 owner, because realistically, those who pay a premium, I feel like they should just get first dibs on software. But that being said, this is actually going to older vehicles. So pre-Autopilot, Autopilot 1, and Autopilot 2 cars pretty much all have this, according to Teslafy.com. Autopilot 2.5, which is what I have, and Autopilot 3 are really low percentages of that. I've never seen this before, where software goes to the older cars first and then the newer cars later. Zach Nelson from JerryRigEverything did a video with the Model Y, did cold weather testing with Tesla up in Alaska, and there's a little glimpse of the Tesla Semi, so I'm hoping that actually in the future we'll see something with the Semi. He hasn't released any info on that, but it would be cool to see. And of course, I'll just leave a link down for that below. I leave links for everything below, if I haven't already made that obvious. Leno's Garage came out. Not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. Normally, the segments that were being shown were like they'd do one segment and then they'd move on to something else. And I felt like this one was just spread throughout the entire episode. It would be a little 50, 30-second clip, and then they'd move on for a few minutes, and then they'd go back to the Cybertruck. And there wasn't a ton. I'll leave a link below of everything compiled together. There wasn't really much new, except two things. One that I mentioned in the last video is I had no idea that back here in the Cybertruck was glass. That was pretty cool. The other thing is the tonneau cover on the back. Elon actually stands on it. He says it's really tough. And then, yeah, so it's kind of cool. I didn't realize it was that strong. I kind of assumed it would be, but just to see him hop up there, Elon's not a small dude, so that was cool. Okay, and here's a public service announcement. Speaking of the AutoPilot stopping at stoplights and stop signs. If you have this, so if you have Hardware 3 and have purchased full self-driving, here's a public service announcement, okay? For those of you who like to set your AutoPilot speed to 5 miles an hour over the speed limit or whatever, if you have that feature turned on, you cannot go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. You can't even set AutoPilot over the speed limit unless you're on a divided highway. So, if you don't like that you can't go over the speed limit, go into your software settings, turn off the stopping at stoplights and stop signs, and then you'll be able to go over the speed limit. So that's a public service announcement. I've seen a lot of people on the forums complaining about this. It's an easy fix. Unfortunately, you can't have both. So if you have the stoplight and stop sign recognition going, then the car can't go over the speed limit and vice versa. Giga Berlin is got the foundation going already. There's a guy who does drone footage, and he's already got some footage of the foundation being started. So I'm pleasantly surprised. The sooner Tesla can start producing vehicles out of Giga Berlin, the better. And speaking of, I did not realize how massive Giga Berlin is. So I've got some numbers here just to kind of put it in perspective. So going off just the plot of land, Giga Nevada is 1.9 million square feet. Giga New York is 1.2 million, and Giga Shanghai we already knew was huge. It's 9.3 million square feet. And then Giga Berlin just comes out and dwarfs that with 32.3 million square feet. And I was just watching a video of the foundation that I just mentioned. And when he does this overview, he just starts to fly backwards on the drone. It just really dawned on me how insanely massive this factory is going to be. And then I also noticed that there's a rail yard right there next to it. They're dumping dirt into trains. And so I'm curious if Tesla is going to be using this rail yard. If they are, I honestly think that they can be producing a ton of cars from this location. And so I'm actually extra excited about this. As well as Giga Shanghai, which is doing an expansion right now for Model Y. So they've got one line going for Model 3s. They'll be doing more lines for the Model Y here soon. All right, and then I feel bad that I've waited this long to get to this point, but congratulations to NASA and SpaceX for the Falcon launch that took Doug and Bob to the International Space Station. It was beautiful to watch, really cool. First time that the U.S. has sent astronauts to space in the last 9 years, so just a big achievement. It was really cool also because the Model X became the dedicated vehicle, or whatever it's called, that took the astronauts to the launch pad. And then later after that, Elon was basically driving back and got stopped at a supercharger. There's some articles saying, Elon was patiently waiting at the supercharger. And then a few days after, he came out and said, more superchargers coming soon. So he may have patiently been waiting, but I think he realized that waiting at a supercharger, like in line, not actually charging, can suck terribly. I say that not from personal experience because that's never happened to me, but I've heard horror stories about it. I've been really lucky. The busiest one I've ever been to is down in Beaver, Utah, and I was the 8th car out of 8 stalls. Charging was still super slow, but I can't imagine waiting 2 or 3 hours for what I've seen in horror stories. So I think Elon waiting is maybe going to have them kick their butt in gear for some more superchargers. So not only that for superchargers, but Tesla in China announced that they're going to be doing a massive expansion for this year. Currently, there's about 2,500 stalls in China. That's built over the last 4 or 5 years. Their plan this year is to install another 4,000 on top of their 2,500 already. This is insane. If they can actually do this, that would be awesome. And I hope that they do the same thing in the US. I'm just going to read a lot of this one. So it looks like Germany is pressing really hard for EVs. They have a new stimulus package that's going on, and it basically cuts out all ICE vehicles and solely focuses on EVs and basically makes the incentive that they had before even better. The EV incentive doubled from 3,000 to 6,000 euros. They used to have a purchase price cap on vehicles that qualified for this incentive. That cap went up from 40,000 euros to 60,000 euros. And then the exemption got bumped from 2025 being the end to 2030. So they're really, really incentivizing people to go to EVs. They also lowered the value-added tax from 19% to 16%, another benefit there. And then on top of all of that, they're going to be requiring every gas station in Germany to have charging outlets for EVs. This is massive. A lot of people have had complaints about EVs. You know, they don't have long enough range, they cost too much, things like that. The range has increased dramatically, the costs have dropped a ton, and now not having charging locations is just going to go out the window in Germany. So I was really stoked to see that. Again, another thing that we could learn from here in the US. All right, the next thing is just a cool little video. The mod 110110 on the Tesla subreddit posted this video showing that his car was recognizing 16 cars around him. Then he asked if anybody had seen more than that. My max, at least that I know of, was the car saw 13 vehicles. I'm curious if anybody has seen more than that. If so, please let me know. I think that's really cool. I didn't see if anybody had commented and seen more. I saw a few. One of them was Ryan McCaffrey, and he commented, and I think he said that he'd seen 15. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But either way, it's really nifty to see how much these cars are recognizing around them at all times. Next up is just for the few Model Y owners that are out there, especially if you like to do work on your own car. Hopefully you don't have to do any work yet, but the Model Y parts catalog is now on Tesla's website. So if you want any parts that are something that they sell over the counter, nothing related to the high voltage battery pack or anything like that, but anything else you should be able to buy directly through the catalog or through your service center. All right, and then the Model 3 was the best-selling vehicle in California for the first quarter ever. So for quarter 1, 2020, Model 3 outsold similar sized vehicles, not similar priced ones, but sized ones, such as the Corolla, the Civic, the Camry, the Accord. All of those cars were outsold by the Tesla Model 3. And on top of that, for the second month in a row, the Model 3 outsold every other vehicle in the UK. It just blows my mind that some people are like, oh, it's not a very popular car. These numbers say otherwise. So, anyways, that's just cool to see them topping the charts like that. So the next thing is that there's actually weather kits and mud flaps that you can buy for the Model 3 from Tesla directly. They're $50 each. I was actually going to hop on it, and then I was like, I don't want to pay $100 for those, and I really want it as a combo. But yeah, $50 if you want mud flaps, $50 for a paint protection film that goes back in front of the rear tires, just to help protect your paint and stuff like that. So somebody asked Elon when stopping at stoplights and stop signs is going to be coming to Canada. He said Thursday, which would be June 11th. And that was pretty much it for the week. Please, if you have anything that you would like to see me do, or there's something I can do better, let me know. And I'm going to close this off with a Supercharger update. It was a bit better 2 weeks than the last couple episodes. Nothing crazy, but nice to see the ball get rolling again. So for Superchargers, we have 8 permits, 6 in the US, 1 in Canada, and 1 in the UK. 8 started construction, 5 in the US, 1 in the UK, 1 in Belgium, and 1 in Mexico. 6 new openings, all of which were in the US. And one of those was the first one for North Dakota, which finally means that the 48 contiguous states now all have Superchargers. And sorry, Hawaii and Alaska, you guys are kind of just left out there. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Please like or comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm to make these videos show up. Maybe there's other people that haven't seen the channel because they just haven't been suggested it on the sidebar. That would really be something that I'd appreciate. Apart from that, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.